The morning was cold. Thousands of men stood in silence. Some prayed, some tightened their grip on their shields. Have you ever? Others looked toward the horizon, knowing they would never see another sunrise. Before this day was over, a king would be dead, and England would belong to someone else. The morning of 14 October 1066 began in complete silence. Across Senlac Hill, nearly 15,000 men stood facing one another, separated by little more than an open field. Some whispered quiet prayers beneath their breath. Others tightened the grip on their shields, knowing that within moments those shields would decide whether they lived or died. Every man understood that this would not be an ordinary battle. Before the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, a king would be dead, and the future of England would belong to someone else. King Harold had already achieved what many believed was impossible. Only weeks earlier, he had marched nearly 200 miles north, defeated Harold Hardrada at Stamford Bridge, and saved England from one invasion. Now, after another exhausting march back to the south, he stood before a second invading army. Soldiers were tired, many were wounded, but their determination had never been stronger. They believed that if they could hold this hill, England itself could still be saved. Waiting below the hill was a very different army. William's soldiers had crossed the English Channel knowing there could be no retreat. Victory would bring them land, wealth, and honor. Defeat would leave them stranded in a hostile kingdom with little hope of escape. William understood the weight of this moment. Years of planning, months of preparation, and one dangerous crossing had brought him here. Everything now depended on the battle that was about to begin. Harold had chosen his battlefield wisely. Standing on the high ground, the English shield wall formed an almost solid barrier of timber, iron, and determination. To reach them, the Normans would have to fight uphill under a hail of spears and axes. William's advantage lay not in the ground, but in the discipline and flexibility of his army. Archers, infantry, would attack together in carefully coordinated waves. One side relied on an unbreakable wall, the other relied on relentless pressure. History was about to reveal which strategy would prevail. For a brief moment, time itself seemed to stand still. Thousands of men looked across the valley at faces they had never seen before, knowing that within minutes they would be fighting for their lives. There would be no second chances, no retreat, and no mercy. The fate of kingdoms, dynasties, and generations yet to be born rested upon what happened next. Then, without another word, the first war horn shattered the silence. William understood that attacking the English shield wall head-on would be costly. Instead, he ordered his archers to strike first. Hundreds of Norman bowmen stepped forward, each carefully drawing their bows while staring up at the ridge above them. Their task was simple: break the English formation before the infantry advanced. If the shield wall weakened, the rest of the army could exploit the opening. It was a strategy designed to win the battle before swords had even crossed. At William's command, the sky turned black with arrows. Thousands of shafts rained down upon the English defenders in the first attack of the day. Yet Harold had chosen his ground wisely. Standing high above the Normans, his warriors locked their shields together, creating an almost impenetrable barrier. Most of the arrows struck harmlessly against timber and iron, while many simply sailed over the defenders' heads. William's opening attack had achieved far less than he had hoped. With the archers unable to break the English line, William gave the order for his infantry to advance. Shield after shield climbed the steep hillside as disciplined Norman soldiers pushed forward under a storm of English spears. Above them, Harold's army waited in complete silence. Every warrior knew that patience was now their greatest weapon. The higher the Normans climbed, the more exhausted they became, and the stronger the English defense would be. The moment the two armies collided, The battle became a brutal contest of strength and endurance. Harold's elite housecarls wielded enormous Danish axes capable of splitting shields and crushing armor with the single blow. Fighting from the high ground, they met every Norman attack with relentless determination. Again and again, the invaders were thrown back down the slope. For a time, it seemed as though the English shield wall might prove impossible to break. As the fighting intensified, parts of the Norman army began to falter. The steep hill, the relentless English defense, and mounting casualties shook the confidence of many soldiers. Then, amid the confusion, a dangerous rumor swept across the battlefield. Word spread that Duke William had been killed. Panic threatened to undo months of preparation in a matter of minutes. If the rumor proved true, the invasion could collapse before the battle had even reached its climax. William understood that morale could decide the battle as surely as any sword. Riding fearlessly toward the front, he tore off his helmet so every soldier could see his face.
I am still alive!
Raising his sword above the battlefield, he shouted that he was still alive and ordered his men to stand and fight. The effect was immediate. Panic gave way to determination. The Norman army rallied around its leader, and the battle began once again with renewed intensity. The English had held the line. William had saved his army. Neither side was willing to yield. William began to notice something that would change everything. Hidden within the English shield wall was a weakness.